Hello there, you're watching Bizworld. The government has approved part of the applications for the recruitment of foreign workers involving barber shops, textiles and goldsmiths. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, however, placed the condition that local youths be trained to fill up vacancies in the three sectors.
Tapi saya tak mau bagi penuh. Sebab saya rasa perlu kita cari jalan. Biar melalui TVET, melalui modal, tekun, kita cari jalan, bagi modal. Kalau kedai-kedai India, bagi anak-anak India tak apa. Bagi dia training. Sebab sekarang orang muda, dia bukan mau gunting macam dulu. Kap, tak ada lagi dah. Kita bagi latihan.
He also said that the matter will be brought to the Cabinet on Friday as it involved an immediate need for workers. It was reported that some 15,000 foreign workers are needed for the barbershop, goldsmith and textile sectors. Datuk Seri Anwar also announced an additional allocation of 10 million ringgit to upgrade stalls throughout Kuala Lumpur. Meanwhile, Malaysia's job market, which has been on a positive growth trajectory so far this year, could face uncertainty due to local and global factors. According to MIDF research, Malaysia's labour market is anticipated to strengthen further in 2023 and 2024, backed by positive impetus in the domestic economy. It said the country's average unemployment rate is expected to decline further to 3.5% in 2023 and return to the pre-pandemic levels of 3.3% in 2024. The return of non-citizen workers is also expected to boost overall employment and reduce the jobless rate. Continued improvement in the labour market will support consumer spending as the wage recipients to employment ratio had reached a new peak of 64.5% back in 2021. Sarawak aims to generate 15% of income from foreign markets through the renewable energy RE sector. In order to achieve this, the state will increase the interconnectivity with other regions through 1,400 kilometres of new transmission line of 500 kilovolts, including 600 kilometres of undersea cable across the South China Sea.
One of our initiatives is for Sarawak to potentially export hydropower to Singapore through submarine cable. As you may know, Singapore requires significant energy supply for its subsidiaries. Sarawak may be able to provide Singapore with our green and renewable energy generated from our hydroelectric dams.
Tan Sri Abang Johari also noted that Sarawak has the potential to generate 20,000 megawatts of hydropower if more dams are built. Therefore, the potential to export electricity will also be enhanced. Foreign investors continue to offload local equities on Bursa Malaysia for the second straight week, albeit at a slower pace of 113.5 million ringgit last week compared to 153.4 million ringgit the prior week. According to MIDF research, the top three sectors that saw net foreign inflows were property, construction and technology. Meanwhile, the bottom three sectors with net foreign outflows were healthcare, industrial products and services, as well as consumer products and services. Local institutions, on the other hand, maintained their net buying for the third consecutive week, amounting to 191.3 million ringgit. Local retail investors continued net selling, totaling 77.8 million ringgit last week. Residential prices in Pulau Pinang grew 5.78% year-on-year, making it the second best performing city in Southeast Asia. According to real estate company Knight Frank Asia Pacific, Kuala Lumpur, on the other hand, saw residential prices increase by 0.34%. The price increases came after Malaysia's economy advanced 5.6% and the unemployment rate tightened to 3.5% in the first quarter. Despite a slowdown in the economy with gross domestic product GDP recorded at 2.9% in the second quarter, the recent pause in overnight policy rate hike coupled with improving labour market conditions will continue to support the housing market. 14 out of 25 cities monitored by Knight Frank recorded positive annual price growth, with Singapore registering as the top performing market with 8% growth. And that's all the time we have for Bizworld this time around. I'm Nadia Azmi. Thanks for investing your time with us.